Well, hello there. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Best of Both Worlds. Today we will be working on an antique quilt. And this one is a crazy star. And I'm very excited to show you what I've done on it. So let's get started. The first thing I need to do is create a boundary for this. And I think if I just clicked on the points, I might miss some of that because it's not completely square. So I'm going to go into my boundary and I will start coming around. I don't need to click every point, but just making sure I will have it in case it is crooked. So I want to make sure the pattern goes in without going over the edge. So there's my boundary, and now I will go to the repeat pattern, and I will come down here to the pattern, get right on that volcano, and push OK. So there's my pattern. Now I will go over to it and see what I can do to place that in the boundary. So here's my pattern, and you can see that it's a square, and I need it to fit into this rectangle. So I'm just going to, this will keep the center where it is, and then I can just pull these out, kind of get that one up there. I don't want to get too close. I still need that. You see how wonderful that works? That's a little bit close on the edge right there. Maybe a little bit more there, but then that moves that. Okay, so if I double click that, I can use my gray points here to kind of stretch those into the corner a little bit better. It's kind of touchy, so you have to be careful. I'm checking those, and there we go. And I have to move that in. There we go. And kind of over. So you play with it a little bit to get it just the way you want. That one looks good. That one's okay. I think we are in pretty good shape here. I'm happy with that. Now I do have this center, and the way it is now, let's come in here, it's going to really get into that volcano, I think. So if I come over here and I choose my nodes and get it quite close, there we go. What I'm going to do is just pull these nodes back a little bit, like that. And I also want to make sure that I haven't ruined any of my curves. That looks great. I'm just going to kind of form a square here, and that will stay so that that center is definitely out of the way. You can really refine your patterns with this. I'm just learning about it, but I'm really having fun. Awesome. Okay, now we can just go and quilt. As it gets over to this corner, I know that it's quite close, so I am going to just watch it here and make sure, because I can just push down a little bit on the quilt here. There we go. Make sure that it doesn't go out of bounds. It's fun to watch it anyway, of course. See how moving those points back on that pattern just stayed away from that and eliminated all those problems? I love that. This pattern is Magic Carpet. It's one of my older patterns, one that I really love. And you can go to CreativeStudio and get that pattern. So I want to put the Stars and Loops pattern in here, which is really an edge-to-edge pattern. So the first thing I need to do is to create a boundary. And I already have this side of the boundary and it's still up on the screen, so I'm going to leave that there. And I'll just come over. It's still a little wily here as far as straight because of the antique nature. And I can just put stop there. And now I can measure that on the screen. So if I use this tape measure, and I'll just click right here and come down here and click. And then for the width, click here and here. So I have measured this. I'm going to push repeat pattern, and I'm going to go in here and put my new measurements in there, and they are going to be the opposite. Since this is going the other direction, my length and width are going to be opposite. And so now my machine is really anywhere up here, and I will, because I know it's going to put it up there and I'll have to adjust it, I'm just going to put OK. So there, it put my pattern there. And now if I highlight this whole thing like this, and then I can rotate it like that 90 degrees, and again grabbing the whole thing and moving it over here into my boundary. And I can see that I need to move it in a little bit, kind of mess with it a little bit here to make sure that it doesn't go out of my boundaries. That looks pretty good to me. And so you can see it's not going to go over the boundary anywhere. I'll watch over here, and I can push on my quilt if I need to make sure it doesn't go over the boundary. Now I'm going to make sure that these are all connected. So I'm going to push order join. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I just want to make sure that these are all connected. They'll sew all at once, so I will just highlight the top one, and I'll come over here to order join, and I can see they're all done. And this is going to start here now and end down here, and so I'm ready to sew. And there we go. Awesome. Since I came clear to the edge when I put the stars and loops in across the sashing, I just filled in with freehand across this border. It was so easy with just my stars and loops, and it's flawless. You can't even tell. For products, patterns, and retreats, visit lindavtaylor.com.